You open your eyes for the very first time on a backwater feral world in the 41st millennium. You're not special. You're not chosen. You're just one of about 6 billion human children born today across the Imperium of man. And statistically speaking, you'll be dead by your 10th birthday. Plague, famine, alien invasion, your local planetary governor deciding your district needs to be exterminated for tithe failure. The galaxy is a meat grinder, and you're meat. But somewhere in your DNA, buried so deep that nobody can see it yet, there's something different. A genetic compatibility, a spark. And about 6 years from now, a giant in ceramite armor is going to land on your planet, look at you the way a butcher looks at a promising calf, and decide that you're going to become something that hasn't really been human for 10,000 years. Congratulations, you're going to be a space marine. And that's the worst thing that will ever happen to you.
Let's back up. The Imperium of Man is the largest human empire in the history of the galaxy, spanning roughly 1 million worlds and ruled from Holy Terra by a corpse god. The Emperor of Mankind has been physically dead, or as close to dead as a being like him can get, for 10,000 years. He sits on the golden throne, his body slowly disintegrating, his soul holding back an apocalypse you don't even know exists yet. And about 10 millennia ago, before he ended up that way, he created you. Not you specifically. He created the template, the Adeptus Astartes, the Space Marines, post-human bioengineered super soldiers designed to be the final shield between humanity and total extinction. There are about 1 million of them in the entire galaxy, divided into roughly 1,000 chapters of 1,000 warriors each. For every Space Marine, there are approximately 1 billion ordinary humans. They're so rare that the arrival of a single one in a city is treated as a religious event, and you're about to become one. Sort of, maybe. Probably you'll die first. You're 6 years old when they come for you. The exact age and the exact method depends entirely on which chapter has claimed recruiting rights on your world. And the methods are absolutely insane. If you're on Fenris, the ice world claimed by the Space Wolves, they drop you alone in the wilderness in the middle of a blizzard and see if you survive a week. If you somehow walk back to the gathering hall, they take you. If you're on the death world of Nocturne, claimed by the Salamanders, you have to walk into an active volcano and bring back a relic from the lava plains. If you're a Black Templar's aspirant, you're put in a gladiator pit with the other candidates and told that only the survivors will be considered. 8 out of 10 boys die before they even get to step 1 of the actual process. And the parents who watched their sons get taken? They cheer. They thank the Emperor. Because in the Imperium, having your child selected by the Astartes is the greatest honor a family can ever achieve. They will literally never see you again. You will be told to forget them. Within a year, you won't even remember their faces. But hey, your village got a tax break, so that's something.
You survive the selection. Lucky you. They take you off planet in a vessel the size of a small city, and for the first time in your life, you see the void of space. You're terrified. You're alone. The men around you don't speak to you. They don't reassure you. They take you to a place called the Chapter Monastery, usually located on a fortress world or in orbit around one, and the indoctrination begins immediately. They strip away your name. They strip away your memories of home. They feed you stories about the god Emperor, about the great betrayer Horus, about the long war against the ruinous powers. While you sleep, machines whisper into your ears, embedding doctrine directly into your developing neural pathways. By the time you're 7, you can recite the Lectitio Divinitatis by heart. By the time you're 8, you genuinely believe in the deepest fiber of your being that the Emperor is a god, that humanity is the only species in the galaxy that matters, and that everything else, every Xenos, every mutant, every heretic, must be exterminated. You're not a child anymore. You're a weapon being assembled.
Now the real horror begins, the implants. At around age 10, they take you to the Omophagea, lay you on a stone slab, and begin a series of surgeries that will continue for the next 4 to 6 years. There are 19 of them. 19 separate organs and biological modifications that will be grafted into your body, one at a time, with months of agonizing recovery between each. The first one is called the secondary heart, and it's exactly what it sounds like, a second heart,
surgically implanted next to your original one to handle the cardiac load of the rest of the modifications. The second is the osmodula, a tiny gland that releases hormones causing your skeleton to thicken, harden, and grow. Your bones will eventually fuse with a substance similar to ceramic. Your rib cage will become a single, solid plate of armor over your chest cavity. You will grow to be over 7 feet tall. The pain of this transformation is described in chapter records as indescribable. Many boys go insane. Many simply die. The ones who survive get the next implant, and the next, and the next.
By the time you're 12, they've given you the biscopia, a hormonal regulator that triples your muscle density. The hemastamen, a modification to your blood that allows it to carry 3 times more oxygen than normal human blood. The Laramens organ, which produces special cells that instantly clot any wound you receive, meaning you basically cannot bleed to death anymore. The catalepsian node, which allows one hemisphere of your brain to sleep while the other stays alert, meaning from this point on, you will never sleep again. Not really. You'll enter a kind of half-conscious rest for about 4 hours a night, and that's all you'll ever get for the rest of your life. Which, by the way, could be 300 or 400 years long. You will be tired for centuries. By 13, they've installed the preomnor, a pre-stomach that can neutralize almost any poison and digest things no human stomach can. Raw meat, rotted flesh, certain types of metal, alien biomass. And here's where it gets really dark. Right next to the preomnor, they install the Omophagea. This organ has a specific purpose. It's designed so that when you eat the flesh of an enemy, and you will eat the flesh of your enemies, this is a standard Astartes intelligence gathering procedure, you absorb their memories, their tactical knowledge, their fears. You consume them in every sense of the word. You are 11 years old, and they are teaching you to eat people for information. By 14, you have the multi-lung, a third lung that can filter toxic atmospheres and even let you breathe underwater for short periods. The oculobe, which gives you perfect night vision and lets you see into the infrared spectrum. The liman's ear, which gives you supernatural hearing and perfect balance. You cannot be dizzied, you cannot be deafened, you cannot be disoriented. The succan membrane, which allows you to enter suspended animation in case of mortal injury. If you take a wound that should kill you, your body simply shuts down and waits. Months, years, centuries if necessary, until someone comes to retrieve you. The melanchromic organ regulates your skin pigment so you can survive lethal radiation. The oolitic kidney filters virtually any toxin from your bloodstream within seconds. The neuroglottis in your mouth lets you identify any creature in the galaxy by taste alone. The mucranoid causes your skin to secrete a protective slime that lets you survive in vacuum or in temperatures that would freeze a human solid. And the Becher's gland, located under your tongue, lets you spit acid powerful enough to dissolve flesh and corrode metal. You are 15 years old. You are not a person anymore. You are a piece of military hardware that happens to be made of meat.
But the most important implants come next, and they're the ones that finally seal you away from humanity forever. The progenoid glands. You get 2 of them, one in your neck, one in your chest. They contain the gene seed of your chapter, the genetic material that traces all the way back to one of the 20 Primarchs, the demigod sons of the Emperor himself. Rebute Gilliman if you're an Ultramarine, Sanguinius if you're a Blood Angel, Leman Russ if you're a Space Wolf. These glands are the most precious thing your chapter owns because when you die, and you will die, an apothecary will rush to your corpse, cut them out of you, and use them to grow the next generation of warriors. You are not allowed to die alone in obscurity. You are not allowed to be lost on some battlefield, because if your progenoids are not recovered, your chapter loses a piece of itself forever. Marines, when they speak honestly, will tell you they don't fear death. What they fear, what genuinely terrifies them, is the thought of dying somewhere their gene seed cannot be retrieved.
And then comes the last implant, the Black Carapace.
Around age 16, in a ceremony held in the deepest sanctum of the chapter monastery,
the apothecaries slide a sheet of black, neuroreactive material under your entire torso and limbs. It bonds with your skin. It grows into you. From now on, you have an exoskeleton just beneath your flesh, lined with interface ports that connect directly to your nervous system. Without the Black Carapace, no human can wear power armor. It weighs 400 kilograms and would crush a normal man. With it, the armor becomes part of you. You think and it moves. You feel and it senses. The boundary between flesh and machine is gone. You are now, in every legal and biological sense, no longer human. You are Adeptus Astartes. There are about 70 out of every 100 boys who started this process with you who didn't make it this far. Some died on the surgical slab. Some had their bodies reject the gene seed and burst from within. Some went mad from the indoctrination and were quietly executed. You're one of the lucky ones. Now your real life begins. And it's going to be terrible. You are given your first suit of power armor. You are given a bolter, a gun that fires self-propelled rocket shell rounds about 3/4 of an inch wide, each one packed with enough explosive to take the head off a grown man. You are given a combat knife the length of a normal human's forearm, and you are given a ship. From this point on, you have no home, you have no family, you have no possessions that are not weapons or armor. You will live the rest of your unnaturally long life on a strike cruiser or a battle barge, moving from war zone to war zone, killing things, watching your brothers die, and occasionally being thawed out of cryosleep to fight in a campaign that nobody back home will ever remember. Your chapter is your family now. Your brothers are the only people in the galaxy you will ever speak to as equals, and you will watch most of them die.
Let's talk about how. Because the galaxy in the 41st millennium is not interested in your training, your implants, or your faith. It just wants you dead. Maybe you're deployed to a Tyranid Hive Fleet incursion. The Tyranids are a galaxy-spanning swarm of bioengineered organisms that consume entire planets and convert the biomass into more Tyranids. They are essentially space locusts the size of buildings. They have psychic hive minds. They cannot be reasoned with, intimidated, or stopped. Only killed. And there are trillions of them. You and your squad of 10 brothers will be dropped into a war that you cannot win, and you will fight until you are overwhelmed, and your gene seed had better be recoverable, because there isn't going to be anything left. Maybe you're deployed against the Necrons. They're ancient robotic skeletons, the remnants of a civilization that predates humanity by 60 million years. They sleep beneath dead worlds. They have weapons that can disassemble matter on a molecular level. They cannot be killed permanently. They just teleport back to their tomb worlds to be repaired. Imagine fighting an enemy that can never truly die, and you can. Maybe you're sent to fight the orcs, green-skinned, mushroom-related fungal creatures who reproduce by releasing spores and who view war as the entire purpose of existence. There are more orcs in the galaxy than any other species, and they are getting stronger every year. Maybe you're deployed against the Drukhari, Dark Eldar, soul-eating space pirates who raid human worlds to harvest civilians for centuries-long torture sessions because their souls slowly atrophy and they need the suffering of other beings to stay sane. Maybe, worst of all, you're deployed against Chaos, the 4 ruinous powers of the warp. And here's where your worst nightmare lives, because the enemy on the other side of the line might be wearing the same armor you are, might be carrying the same kind of bolter, might once have been your brother. 10,000 years ago, half of the original 20 legions of Space Marines turned on the Emperor in an event called the Horus Heresy. Their Primarchs were corrupted by the dark gods of the warp, and they took their legions with them. They've been fighting against the Imperium ever since. Time moves differently in the warp, so the Chaos Space Marines you face today might be the original traitors from 10,000 years ago, kept alive and twisted by the powers they serve. They are immortal. They are insane. They have spent 10 millennia perfecting hatred. And every loyal Marine knows the truth that the Imperium does not advertise. Any chapter, given the wrong stress and the wrong influence, can fall. The Soul Drinkers fell. The Astral Claws fell. The Sons of Malice fell. Every chapter master knows that he might wake up one day and find that his greatest brother has gone to chaos, and now he has to kill him. This is the war Space Marines fight.
not just against aliens, but against the constant possibility of their own corruption. Let's say you survive a few decades of this. Let's say you fought in 8 wars, killed thousands of enemies, watched 7 of your original training squad of 10 get torn apart, and your gene seed got recovered each time, so their chapters lived on. You're maybe 70 years old now, and physically, you look about 30. Your face is a road map of scars. You have replaced one eye with a bionic. You barely remember the boy you used to be. The hypno-indoctrination from your childhood has been reinforced so many times that doubt is no longer something your brain can produce. The Emperor is God. Heresy is the only sin. Death in his service is the only meaningful way to die. You are, in every sense, the perfect weapon. And then you take a wound that should kill you. A demon's claw, maybe. A Tyranid bioweapon. A traitor's chainsword through your midsection. Your body shuts down. The Susan membrane engages. Your brothers find you, and they don't let you die. They take what's left of you, usually just your head, spine, and a few organs, and they put you into a dreadnought. A dreadnought is a walking war machine the size of a small house, with a sarcophagus mounted in its torso. Inside the sarcophagus, your remaining flesh is wired into the chassis, kept alive by amniotic fluid and stasis. From now on, you don't experience the world directly anymore. You experience it through sensors. You sleep, truly sleep, for centuries at a time, in total sensory deprivation, dreaming of the wars you fought. You are only woken up when the chapter needs you for a fight too important to miss. They open the sarcophagus, they let your consciousness rise, you walk into battle as a 4-meter-tall iron god, and then, when the fight is over, they put you back to sleep. There is a space wolf dreadnought named Bjorn the Fell-Handed, who's been alive in his sarcophagus for 10,000 years. He fought alongside the Primarch Leman Russ before the heresy. He has been awake, on and off, for the entire history of the Imperium. When his chapter wakes him for a war, he is angry. He is always angry, because every time he opens his eyes, more of his brothers are dead and the war is still not over. That's your retirement plan. Asleep in a coffin, dreaming of slaughter, for 10,000 years.
But you might not even get that. Most Marines don't. The average Astartes dies in combat within 50 years of becoming a battle brother. And the worst thing about his death isn't the dying. It's what he was right before he died. Because the gene seed of certain chapters mutates over the centuries. If you're a blood angel, you inherit a genetic memory of the death of your Primarch Sanguinius, who was killed by his brother Horus in single combat 10,000 years ago. In the heat of battle, this memory can overwhelm you, and you enter what the chapter calls the Black Rage. You believe you are Sanguinius. You believe Horus is in front of you. You attack without strategy, without mercy, until you are killed, usually by your own brothers because you've become a danger to the entire battle line. The Blood Angels have a special company called the Death Company, made up entirely of Marines who have succumbed to the Black Rage. They are sent into the worst battles because they cannot be controlled and they will not survive. They are not expected to. If you're a space wolf, your gene seed has a tendency to mutate you into something called the Wolfen, a literal werewolf, hunched, furred, with claws and a snout, devolving from human into beast. Most chapters consider this a curse. Some space wolves consider it a blessing. Either way, you stop being you.
And here is the truth that the Imperium will never tell its citizens, and that the Marines themselves only whisper among each other in the deepest hours of the ship's night. You are not human anymore. Legally, biologically, psychologically, theologically, you are something else. There is a faction of the Inquisition, the Ordo Hereticus, that quietly believes the Astartes are themselves a form of heresy, an abomination of the human form, a weapon that should not exist. The only reason this opinion is never spoken aloud is that the Imperium would collapse without you. There are too many enemies. The galaxy is too dark. Without the Astartes holding the line, humanity is extinct within a century. So they made you, and they keep making you, and they will keep making you until the very end. You are simultaneously the most sacred and the most monstrous thing humanity has ever produced. And you know it. Every Marine, somewhere in the back of his transhuman mind, knows that he is the price humanity paid to survive. He is the cost. He is the receipt. There is no retirement. There is no homecoming. There is no woman waiting for you, no children, no warm hearth at the end of the road. You will fight until you die. And if you die well, your gene seed will be cut out of your corpse and used to make the next boy in line. He will inherit fragments of your memories. Marines call them flashes, sudden visions of battles their predecessors fought. And he will carry your sacrifice forward into the next 10,000 years of war. You will not be remembered as a person. You will be remembered, if at all, as a name on a wall in a chapter monastery on a fortress world nobody will ever visit. The Imperium will continue. The Emperor will continue to rot on his throne. The galaxy will continue to burn. And somewhere, on a backwater feral world you've never heard of, a 6-year-old boy is being watched by giants in ceramite armor, and they're nodding to each other because they've decided he's the one. He's going to be next, just like you were, just like the 10,000 years of brothers who came before you. The Adeptus Astartes were created to be humanity's shield, but a shield doesn't get to choose where it's struck. A shield doesn't get to put itself down. A shield exists only until it breaks. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. And you, brother, are the war. Forever.